Hello, everybody. Welcome to Win, Lose, or Cry, Maple Leafs podcast. Me and James here today. We got some interesting stuff to talk about in the NHL. It's currently Tuesday. It's currently Tuesday. There's rumors flying around everywhere. Colorado's making all the trades in the world.
Colorado is making the best moves. Like whatever theory you can come up with, like with Landeskog going out, it's like, okay, they have this cap space, let's do something with it. And what do? They go out and sign like the top defensive person that you can. Like that.
Josh
Colorado
Manson.
is stacked.
Just
Josh
Manson.
Yeah, they for what, a second round pick and half salary retained.
Half retained, so it's like $2 million and something, and then it's not this year's second, it's next year's second.
Yeah, because they don't have this year's second.
Like
they don't have any picks this year. Like they're
going
for it. And I mean, they're probably gonna get it.
Yeah.
If they can pull the trigger on this Giroux deal that's been circulating for a month now, insanity. You add Giroux and Manson to an already dominant team. If they lose, it's their own fault.
Oh.
It's not the fault of anybody else. Like
no,
they're currently number one in the league.
You know, it would be a great playoff round. Tampa, Colorado,
in the finals.
Oh my god!
It probably will be.
That's
where my money. That's where my money is.
That is
Tampa,
must.
Colorado
That is must watch hockey.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be a great series.
That's what my money's on for the playoffs.
Same.
So, I mean, they are stacked. They
Unbelievable.
Now,
and like you said, they're going. They made another minor move today.
Did they?
Yeah. Keep talking. I'll find it.
Yeah. There's like six days left till the deadline, so which is still lots of time. And I know. So I've been listening to the Steve Dangle podcast, and they have a whole theory about the Giroux trade, right? Because Giroux is going to hit 1,000 games, and they're like, let's trade him after he gets the 1,000 games, after he gets the 1,000 game ceremony with the Flyers. He's only played with the Flyers his entire career, right? Yeah. So they're kind of saying, like, let him hit the 1,000 game mark with the Flyers, trade him the next day. And I think, I think yesterday was the 1,000th game, and then on Sunday or Saturday this week is like their next home game. So like essentially, like, let him hit the 1,000. Do the ceremony, trade them later that day.
That's smart.
And that's a theory that they've been throwing around on the Steve Dangle podcast. Which, I mean, I like if that's what happens, I'm happy to see that happen. Yeah. Right, like he's played his entire 1,000 games with the same team. You want him to have the award ceremony there. Trade him the next day so he can get the Stanley Cup.
I think that's a pretty cool thing for them to like, it's business, but like, you know, let him have a ceremony. I respect that.
Well, it's like the Kessel thing, right? Right? Like he played the one shift and then had a chartered plane to go home for the birth of his child. Right? Like it's business, but it's also personal, and they were able to get that, which was really good of Arizona to do. So I mean, Giroux might not get traded. He might, but if he does, I hope he gets that 1,000th game ceremony in Philadelphia.
Just as an update, that trade, Minnesota Wild acquire forward Tyson Jost from Colorado in exchange for forward Nico Sturm.
Okay,
I'm not very.
I'm not. I don't know too much about Stern.
Him.
I've never heard the name. Jost isn't bad.
So
he's lower down the lineup.
I'm assuming Sturm is an upgrade then, because they're obviously not downgrading.
I don't know. No. I can't speak to it unless it's a salary cap move.
Oh, that's true.
Right. So it could be something like that. Right. It could be a thing that it could be a downgrade. Right. Like if Sturm is better or is worse, sorry, he's getting replaced by Giroux when Giroux comes in.
I mean,
it could be one of those kind of situations.
17 points in 53 games this year.
For who?
Nico Sturm, the guy Colorado got.
Okay.
But 6'3", 209 pounds. He's a bigger guy. He's 26. He's also on the Wild, who aren't doing the greatest, so I don't know. He's definitely, like, you know, he's going to be on your fourth line or something, but you're right. Maybe cap move or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or it's a player that's going to get bumped once they bring in an additional forward.
Absolutely.
Right?
But you know what? That's not really
Fine.
worth getting into right now. We're a Leafs podcast. We got
Well,
two.
let's actually stick
You
with the
want?
Flyers here. We're talking about Giroux and the
All right,
Flyers.
yeah, go ahead, man.
Justin Braun, defenseman on the Flyers, is one that um, could be going to the Leafs.
Really?
Right? Well, he's kind of like the number one player that's getting talked about. Josh Manson was kind of like number one, at least in my opinion,
Yeah.
because as much as Chikrin and Klingberg have been brought up, they're not defensive guys. They're not bigger hitters. Like they're more puck moving. They're more offensive.
Chikrin's also got an injury
Josh,
now, right? He's on LTIR.
So he's out 2 to 4 weeks now.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. But so Justin Braun is 6'2", 205 pounds, making $1.8 million.
Ooh.
So he's 35, so he's a little bit older, but I mean he's the kind of player that they're looking for. He's a shutdown guy. He's going to be strong and responsibly defensive, and he's going to be a guy that we can count on to get on the ice, shut down the play, and that's it.
That's what we want.
Like you're not going to expect any offense out of him. You're not going to expect any points out of him. But his title is in his position, right? He's defense.
That's perfect. I mean, we're going to talk about this later, but we're no longer just looking for a defenseman.
A goaltending change needs to happen.
Absolutely. So if he's making what you said 1.8,
yeah,
that's fantastic. That means you have the room to make that move. I mean, just looking at, I was doing a little bit of research about who the Leafs could possibly get that be an upgrade, right? There's goaltenders on the market, but who's an actual upgrade? And the two names that I came up with, Holtby, which not very unique. Everyone's saying Holtby. Fleury, I don't think he's coming. But I thought Holtby I don't think he's coming. But I was thinking Holtby or John Gibson.
Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any world where we get Gibson.
Why?
I don't. Why would an improving team trade away their star goaltender? Right? Because the Ducks are, I'm pretty sure they're just outside the playoffs. The Ducks are 4 points outside a wild card spot. Right? They've got Zegras. They've got a couple of young guys that are coming up. Rickard Rakell. They've got Lindholm on defense. They've got a couple of players that are up and coming that are going to be very good. And why, as a team that's just outside the playoff spot, why would you get away your starting goaltender? He signed for? Is he signed for 5 more years?
Yes, at 6.4.
So he's got a future there, right? Like, as much as he would be a huge asset on the Leafs, I don't think they'll trade him at all.
Yeah,
and I could be completely wrong by saying that, but I really do not see them moving their starting goaltender.
No, I was just thinking because, I mean, like you said, they have a couple guys that will be good. So he's like one of the biggest contracts on. He is actually the highest contract. Cam Fowler is actually more expensive, by like $100,000, but he's pretty much the most expensive contract on the team. If maybe they're thinking that these young guys are going to be amazing in like 1 or 2 years, maybe they do that and get someone in the offseason that's cheaper, and this way the Leafs can get them now and they get more profit. I just thought it was an option. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but
no, you know what? Like the fact they have Rickard Rakell, who's having a good season this year. They have Zegras, who signed for 2 more years at his entry level. They have Troy Terry, who's exploded this year, has done really well. And they have $11 million in cap space. So they're not a cap crunch team.
No, I was trying to figure out. I was just trying to spitball because people were putting out other goalies. I'm like, no, that's not gonna happen. I think the most likely is Holtby.
Potentially, the other big one that I've heard thrown around, is Forsberg from Ottawa.
I looked Why though? Because I looked him up earlier and I erased him off of my board, and I believe it's because of his stats. Let me pull them back up.
It could
Yeah,
be
because
because of his stats. He's a free agent at the end of this
yeah,
year.
he's 13-11, and he's got 13-11. He's got a 9-16. I mean, that's pretty good. That is really good.
And keep in mind though the team he's playing on.
Yeah.
Like you also like it's when you look at goalie stats, you have to remember the team they're playing.
Absolutely.
He's playing on Ottawa, who is not a good team.
Yeah, but
it's been a bad team for a while.
This is why I cut him off. Ottawa would be stupid to trade him. He's on his last year of his league min at $900,000.
Mm-hmm.
He's 29.
Yeah.
So he's getting a pay raise. He's league min on a team that's terrible. So if they make any improvement to the team, he's gonna get even better. He's only making $900,000. Like, the Leafs don't have the prospects to give up to get this guy. I don't think.
They might not. They might not. I'm not sure. But he would be a goaltender that I'd be looking into.
He would be fantastic.
Right? If you remember the beginning of the season this year, we got goalied by them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like game 1 or game 2 or something like that. It was right within the first 5 games. We got beat by them because of Forsberg absolutely stood on his head.
I'm just looking at, man, and there's a better chance of Anaheim giving up Gibson than them giving up Forsberg. They'd have to be stupid to give up Forsberg.
Oh, I would disagree with that.
Yeah.
What if they can't afford his contract next year? Right? What if because think that they're buried under Matt Murphy's contract.
Oh, that is a contract.
Right? They've got 625. So first of all, you're talking about a team that has an internal cap.
Yeah.
Right? You're not talking about a cap crunching. You're talking about a team that has an internal cap, and they've got a goaltender taking up $6.25 million of that team.
Man, that's
right.
Sucks.
If Forsberg decides to re-sign next year for Mrazek's contract at $3.8 million, they're now paying nearly $10 million in goaltending. And for a team that has an internal cap, you can't spend a lot of money on your goaltender. You can't be spending $10 million on goaltenders.
What is Ottawa? So, I didn't realize how bad Ottawa was at this point for cap.
Right? So think about it. Murray is an untradeable contract. Mm-hmm. You can't trade that contract. Mm-hmm. So you're stuck with him. And at what point do you look at it, kind of like you were saying about Morgan Riley, prior to him getting signed, do you lose him for nothing at the deadline or at free agency?
Yeah.
Right? And if that's the way Ottawa views Forsberg, can we afford to sign him for $3.5 million or $3.8 million or $3 million, whatever he's going to sign for? Can we afford to do that? Yes or no? No, we can't. Let's offload him now. Try and maybe they get a second round pick from the Leafs.
Hey, if the Leafs gave up Leafs could give up a first for a goalie.
No. I wouldn't give a first. They could give a second
and a prospect. But if you give up a second, it would have to be with something.
It might be, and maybe it's a second this year and a fourth next year, right? Who knows what the deal is? But I mean, they could absolutely try and get him, and then if you do pick him up, you're not pressed to sign Campbell before the deadline. You waited out till the off season, and now you have a choice between 2 goalies if you want to resign.
And
so if Forsberg comes in, stands on his head for the rest of the season, and let's say takes us to the second or third round of the playoffs, okay, you're our guy. See you later, Campbell. And now you have Mrazek and Forsberg.
Really, my idea would be, I would
dump
rather
Forsberg dump Mrazek.
Dude, he's a non-option. He's an absolute non-option. Campbell's at least shown when he's on. Mrazek, oh my god.
Yeah, sorry, I gotta get my dog. He's barking. One second.
I'll keep everybody company here. So unfortunately, we can't hide that when. There he goes. All right. So Forsberg is definitely the best case scenario. I think James can agree on that. He's the one who brought it up. But what did we give up for that? Anton for $900,000. Like, oh, here he is. Yeah. So
there I am.
Yeah, I was just kind of repeating what we were saying. He would be amazing to get at $900,000 because then if you do that, you have all the money in the world to sign a top defenseman, and then worry about it in the offseason.
Exactly. But now by getting Forsberg, you would have to get a defenseman whose contract's up this year.
I disagree.
Right? Because you can't. You disagree?
I disagree. Because what you're going to do is, this offseason, you're getting rid of Mrazek somehow. Potentially, you can sign Campbell to a very small raise as like a bridge deal, kind of put up a shut-up thing. Maybe get him for like 2 on the dot.
Well, I don't think he'll sign a bridge.
No. What I think happened, I guarantee there was an offer on the table for Campbell, and they wanted to see how things would go, and they are kicking themselves in the ass for it right now.
I would assume probably.
Yeah,
the same.
Because probably early. I mean, we talked about it before. I don't know what the rules are for offering contracts. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, actually. And
we talked about it last week.
Was it last week? Yeah.
I still don't know.
I don't know what the rules are. I know there's like a time that you have to wait to sign them. So I
just don't know what it is.
I guarantee there was talks, and I bet they wish they could have taken a contract really early in the year and say like November, December.
Oh, absolutely, man! If they signed that contract back in November, they could have said we're taking a pay cut at $5 million.
Yeah, and that's what That's what we were all saying. Like if we got Jack Campbell for $5 million, November Jack Campbell for $5 million, we'd be laughing. Now
I wouldn't pay him a penny over Mrazek.
No, I think he gets less than Mrazek. I mean, Mrazek's contract's bad to begin with. I think he makes less than 3.
I actually think Mrazek's contract is good.
If you look at his career, if you look at his
his, because he's a career like 915 or 916 save percentage kind of guy. Maybe it's somewhere in there. Yeah. So $3.8 million for a league average goalie is good.
The problem is you and I have been me and Michael talked about it last week. We talked about it last night when we were hanging out. He isn't a league He's not playing that way anymore. He doesn't. I don't know if it was you or Michael, but he's like he doesn't vibe with the Leafs style.
Oh yeah, that was Michael. Yeah. That was Michael saying
he doesn't vibe with their style.
He's a good goaltender. He does not work with this team.
Yeah, because the Leafs
he needs a defensively responsible team.
Yeah, which we're not.
No,
because he's not. He's a very frantic goalie who likes kind of like flashing the glove and stuff like that. He's
big movement.
Yeah, he's not in position.
No, he's the opposite. He's the opposite of Campbell and even Joseph Woll.
Yeah.
Right? When Joseph Woll played those couple of games, he was very sound.
Mm-hmm.
Right? His skill level may not have been the same as the other ones, but he was able to position himself and have careful movements that made him better.
Mind him. While we're talking about goalies, what'd you think of Kallgren will be starting tonight against the Stars.
Yeah,
and
I think that's a brilliant move.
Because, and we said it,
they need it.
Mrazek can't start another, unless dire need. I don't think he can. I don't think he starts another game as a Leafs goaltender.
Who would you rather start, Mrazek or Hutchinson?
Why would you ask me that question?
Hey, it's one. You know what?
Joseph Woll. I take C.
Yeah, we'll run 6 men. No goaltender.
You know what? Justin Hall in net.
Same. There you go.
No,
there you go. Yeah,
I didn't mind him.
That's
in the period. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was say that's how I see Mrazek right now. Is kind of like Hutchinson.
Yeah.
If he's on the ice, it's not going to be good. Yeah. Yeah, but like you were saying about Kallgren there.
I didn't mind. He only saw him for one period, but it was a period in which the Leafs were playing like crap for most of it. A game where the Leafs were playing like crap for most of it, and he came in and settled everything down.
Yeah, he had. I think he had 10 saves on 11 shots.
Yes, that's pretty good. And that
Is
one,
what-
and
is-
the shot
is
that
what he
went
put
in
up.
was in overtime on some bullshit. That's
Yeah,
some
that
bullshit.
was like that. I know we've complained about poor reffing throughout the year, but that one was blatant.
In front,
Like,
literally, it wasn't like, oh, it was kind of in front of the ref. No, it got affected more so. I saw
But-
people complaining, oh, Matthew stopped skating. No, he stopped skating because the ref was still in his way, and he had to he had to slow down.
yeah, it was
Pathetic.
yeah,
But
I couldn't believe there was no call on that.
all right, if you want to go in
that was
okay, do you want to go in detail on that,
that
or you
was,
want to go in detail on the game?
So hold on, just to tie into that fact. So, I know we're gonna talk about it here in a minute. About his suspension. So I'm gonna go a little sideways here.
All right.
But we're talking about that. The reason it wasn't called is because it was in overtime, right? Game on the line. It was in overtime. Marcus Foligno just threw a bad. I don't know if you saw it. He threw a really bad knee on knee, right? Repeat offender threw a bad knee on knee to Jacob Voracek Friday night.
Are we talking about the Matthews non-call or the Matthews suspension?
I'm talking about the non-call right now.
Okay.
The suspension also ties in with with Foligno, but no, for the non-call. So, Foligno was fined $5,000 as a repeat offender for his knee, deliberate knee on knee.
He came
with
from
Jacob Voracek.
He came from 2 rinks down. The guy was flying.
And he had speed, and it was deliberate knee on knee.
Absolutely.
$5,000 suspension or $5,000 fine, no penalty.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I bring this up, it was a 2-1 game, 50 seconds left. And Foligno's team, the Wild, were up 2-1. No penalty handed out. It was 49 seconds left in the game. It's like this whole, I get it, you don't want to call a penalty near the end of the game or at the end of the game, or in overtime because it could result in a changing of the game, the score of the game. But at the same time, these calls need to be made. I don't care if it's overtime or 50 seconds left. A penalty is a penalty.
That wasn't like oh, someone got hooked, the puck went the other way. That no call led to the game-ending goal. Directly. That was
he scored the goal.
Yeah, exactly. That was you didn't call that. 10 seconds later, the goal went in the net.
Yeah, and guess who's faster, Matthews or Chychrun? Guess who would have won that race?
Matthews.
Yeah.
So the only reason, and it was beyond blatant. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
At all.
It's
Matthews.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because he's like ninth.
You don't call.
He's one of the top players in the league. He always has the puck. I think he's 9th or 10th on the Leafs for drawing penalties or something like that. He's near the bottom, and the Leafs are near the bottom in the league.
Yeah.
What does he have to do to get a penalty drawn?
It's the same as McDavid or Crosby or Ovi, right? They don't call penalties against the All-Stars.
Yeah, because they happen so often. It's because they're always being penalized against. You have to call it if it's in the rule book. Call the freaking rule book.
Yeah.
I don't
McDavid is being I'm going to use the word penalized. He's being penalized for being fast.
Yeah. I thought the NHL wanted to go for speed.
I don't mean he's getting penalties for it, but because he is so much faster than other players, he is getting hooked because other people can't keep up, and it's a negative factor now that he's that fast.
It's like you have to play with a handicap.
He's getting hooked. Yeah, absolutely. Because for the sole reason that he's better than everybody else.
Yeah, it's like when you're playing in the top league in the entire world, you shouldn't be going in and then people are like, hey, there's no league above this, so we're gonna have to handicap you for all time. So you just don't. If you get hooked, you don't get hooked. If you get tripped, I don't care. If you get cross-checked, I don't care.
Yeah. Did you see? So Edmonton beat Tampa Saturday night.
Okay.
4-1. McDavid opened the scoring by it was either his first or second goal. He got 2 goals that night. He blew by Victor Hedman with speed and scored on Brian Elliott.
Yeah.
And in the post game, when the reporter was asking him a question, and looks at him and goes, "So Connor, I guess like it doesn't really matter who you're playing against because Victor Hedman's a pretty good player. What makes you think that you can try and skate past him like that?" And his response was, "Well, I think I'm a pretty good player too, and I can kind of do what I want out there." The reporter was almost asking him, like, what gives you the right to try and skate past a good defenseman?
Because I'm
like,
awesome.
That's how he worded it. And McDavid's like, "Well, I think I'm a pretty good player too."
Yeah.
Like, and he just kind of smiled and like shrugged it off. He's like, "Dude, like, are you kidding me?"
Dumbass question.
Like, yeah, it was. It was. It was just I happened to catch
I missed that. That's funny.
the ending of that game, and then actually stick around the league for a second. Seattle, Montreal.
Okay.
You want to talk about 2 teams that cannot score?
Oh my lord.
Both teams have horrible goaltending this year.
Yeah.
Yet it went to 8th round of the shootouts. eight rounds. The amount of times that a player walked up to the puck and they're like, "Oh, this is his first career, or this is his first NHL shootout. Oh, this is his first NHL shootout. Oh, this is this guy's first NHL." Like, because they were so far down the lineup that these players had never taken a shootout shot before.
Who ended up
so,
getting
this
it? Was
is
just
his first
some
career.
Was it just some nobody who got it?
Yeah, like I don't remember who got it. Seattle won the game. But I don't remember who got the goal. But it was just like
so bad.
Every player after like the 4th round was first time taking a shootout. So
oh, that's funny.
It was funny to watch, but I mean both goaltenders played well, but the players didn't.
No.
Like the amount of times that the puck missed the net.
Oh no, like both those teams are AHL teams, pretty much.
Yeah, they're not strong, and it was.
Seattle.
Hey, Seattle got the win. Both teams got points, so
Seattle did
good
not do a good job drafting that team.
No, not at all.
No,
not at all. They're. I thought they were going to be kind of like a mid-pack team.
No.
I was wrong. I was very wrong.
I don't think anyone thought they were going to be that bad.
Okay, but yeah, on the side of that, like Grubauer came off a really good year last year. And he's having his career low season.
But he also played with Colorado. He played with.
He did.
Yeah, he played with a good team.
He's not this bad of a
No,
goaltender.
it's because
like,
Seattle's bad.
Like Mrazek. It's like Mrazek,
just
right? Like,
gel, eh?
He's not this bad. He's just having a horrible season.
I get
and
it.
Grubauer's kind of having the same thing on Seattle. But like I drafted him in fantasy. That's how confident I was in that team.
Buddy.
I drafted Grubauer and dropped him like in week 4 because it was not going well.
Do you want to stick with some trade deadline stuff, or do you want to like jump into like the 2 games we have?
Yeah. No, let's go trade deadline. What else do we have going on here?
So, we're looking for defensemen and stuff like that. One thing I noticed, sorry, Jake Muzzin took part in his first skate with the Leafs today on the 15th.
Yes.
They would be idiotic to rush him back into the lineup.
With that being said, apparently, so I actually read an article by Mark Masters on TSN today about it.
Yeah.
And I've got it up here. He was saying that apparently having Muzzin at the rink and on the ice was a morale boost for the team.
Okay.
Right after
good.
2 bad losses in a row to Arizona and Buffalo, said that apparently it was a good kind of morale boost. And at the same time, Keefe has openly said there is no timeline for his return.
Okay, I didn't catch that. I just saw that he was taking part in the skate, and I'm like, okay, this could mean nothing, but do not rush him back in for his health and cap.
Yeah.
Like, they'd be stupid to bring him back in. It'd be so dumb.
Big time for the cap. It would not make sense.
Sorry,
the exact quote.
Sorry,
go ahead.
No, go.
The exact quote was head coach Sheldon Keefe says the defenseman is progressing, but there is still no timeline for a return. So that's what they're stating, just saying like
Dude.
He is on the ice. He's with the team. He is not coming back yet.
You Kucherov him. You absolutely have to Kucherov him.
And you know what? We're at the stage now where every team that is competitive is doing that.
Yeah, and you know
right?
what?
Vegas has Stone.
Yeah.
Vegas has Stone out. Landeskog's out now for Avalanche.
But
right, so like you're seeing these competitive teams,
Yeah.
they're gonna start shuffling players.
But this isn't even like, some people are doing that just to make the money work. But with the Leafs with Muzzin, he had 2 concussions in the span of like a month and a half.
2 months, yeah, it was close.
Leave him, let him get as much rest as possible. Do not rush it.
Yeah.
Like the guy was already dealing with some kind of injury. He was playing rough to like all year long. Let him. If he gets better and it's enough that he can practice in a non-contact, I'm all for it. Don't rush him in. Right?
Yeah. No, not at all. No. Leave him out.
Yeah.
Put him in an ice bath every day.
Honestly.
Like, I don't care. Get that body to 100% because you know how rough and tough the playoffs are.
Absolutely.
And he's like our rough guy on the back end. So get him well rested and throw him in.
Yeah. So that leads to more stuff. We want to make a big splash at this trade deadline. We kind of have to on goalie and defense. But to do that, we might need to give up something big. This leads me to Elliot Friedman on 32 Thoughts. I believe it was yesterday's. Sorry. Quote, I think you're going to see Toronto surprise everyone. They're looking for a long-term solution in goal, and Nylander has started to fall out of favor with management and fans.
Okay.
That is from Elliot Friedman.
I kind of alluded to it last week, I think.
You did.
Where I think Nylander could be an off-season move. Right? I think they can maybe move him in the off-season. I don't see him moving at the deadline. I mean, I'm all down for big moves.
I want a big move. It'd be fun.
I am all down for big. I don't care if it pans out or not. I am down for a big move. And that's how I do fantasy hockey too.
Yeah.
It's big moves all day long.
Oh yeah, that's your style.
And so I want to see what's going to happen here. So, I mean,
it may be nothing, but that's a big source saying that.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And then for Dubas to move him at the deadline,
it's a sweetheart contract. It's a sweetheart contract.
It would be a multiple player.
Absolutely.
move.
Absolutely.
Right? Like I think if they move Nylander, they're getting a goalie and a defenseman back from the same team.
You think it'd be like Nylander and a draft pick or something for a goalie and a defenseman?
Or Nylander and a prospect for like Gibson, and if Manson was available, Manson. Like that kind of ordeal where a defenseman we're looking for, who has term. So I guess Manson's not the choice there. Like go to Arizona, right? They have Scott Wedgwood in net, and they have Chychrun on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Both have term. Both aren't that crazy expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Both those players, I believe. Actually, before I say that, I don't know what Wedgwood's contract is, but the Chychrun's 4.7. But like that's what I'd be looking if they were to move him at the deadline. I'd be looking for a trade like that where you're getting a goalie and a defenseman back.
Yeah. So Chychrun makes 4.6 for the next 4 years.
For the next 3 years after this.
Yeah. And then
he's 3 years after this, and then
Wedgwood's min 8.25.
So between those two players, you're actually saving $2 million, right?
That's a good deal.
So it's now Wedgwood, not a good goaltender. Like he's a Band-Aid fix. He's not a goaltender that you can go for. Vejmelka, however, has had a pretty good season this year
on a terrible team.
On a garbage team, but he's shut down the Leafs. He's shut down the Avs. Like he's had some pretty big wins. He's got a .905 save percentage in 34 starts on the Arizona Coyotes. That's a decent stat.
It's a decent stat.
Right? That's a better stat than Mrazek, who's playing for the Toronto Maple
Yeah.
Leafs. Right? So I could see them, and like he's in the last year of his contract, and he's 25 years old. So like if they were to go for like Vejmelka and Chychrun for Nylander, I could see something like that happening.
What about something like it's 2 trades. Say he wants Holtby, right? And he can get somebody from Arizona. Arizona has all the draft picks in the world, so couldn't you do something like, hey, Arizona and sorry, not Washington, it's just forced to have it now. Dallas. Couldn't you be like, okay, we're trading Arizona, and we want to get this defenseman, Chychrun. We want to get Chychrun, but we're gonna give up Nylander, so we're gonna get something else. So we're gonna get Chychrun and draft pick. Yeah. So if we gave you draft pick plus prospect to get Holtby back, how would you feel about that?
It could be now. How expensive is Holtby?
$2 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
$2 million for.
But
he's a UFA. He's also a 913.
Okay.
913 on Dallas for $2 million.
That's not bad. Interesting.
Yeah.
So there's definitely options.
Absolutely.
If they're looking now you get rid of Nylander though, and our high scoring offense has now gotten worse.
Takes a hit. Now he hasn't been on fire this year, but he's still. It hurts. It hurts to lose Nylander.
Yeah. He's this is like his best career, isn't it? His best season. Year?
He started off really hot, and he slowed down. Still great, but he slowed down.
He's still just like the last 15, 16 games, he's just shy of a point a game.
So it hurts.
I'm pretty sure he's on pace for his best season.
Yeah, 55 and 59.
Yeah, and I don't think he's ever gotten more than 62 points in a season.
Mm-hmm. So,
right? So like
that's a huge get return.
Yeah.
Could that? I'm just thinking that, you know how we always say maybe there's a poison in the dressing room, and your thing always used to be maybe it's Matthews. Could it be Nylander?
It could.
Maybe I'm reading into that quote too much about the management and the fans losing favor with him.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm reading too much into it.
Because
if you look at them on the bench,
November 30th, didn't he?
Yeah.
He held out to the last.
He held out forever, and you look at the bench too. I'm watching that top line, and Matthews, Bunting, Marner are having the best time all the time and joking and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Nylander is not like that.
He's also the driest human in the world, John.
Yeah.
You see, remember that?
Oh my God, I keep getting reminded from the Steve Dangle podcast. Do you remember a year or two ago when him and Matthews were in a commercial together or being interviewed? It's like, where do you like the puck put? Front foot.
Front foot. Yeah, that was it was an interview with Elliot Friedman. Yeah, like
so good.
That's what I mean. So but with that being said, Tavares is on the first line tonight.
He is.
Have you seen the changes that happened to the Leafs for tonight's game?
All I know was that he was going to be on the top line. I don't even know who got
Tavares
slotted in.
Tavares is on the top line.
Yeah.
Spezza is on the fourth.
Okay.
Kasha is on the first power play line. Huh? Nick Robertson is on the second power play line.
Yeah. Give him some time, buddy. Good.
Yeah, so he's going to see some time, well, maybe on the power play. So that could be good. And they got Colgren starting tonight.
I do know that.
Right? So the Leafs, they've made a couple moves tonight. Now I don't know who's jumping up and playing center on the second line. That I didn't see. But yeah, they're making some moves. And Nick Robertson's playing his brother tonight.
Oh, I saw that
Jason
too.
Robertson, who's having an absolutely stunning season.
Okay. Do you want to hear the lineup?
Season that he's yeah, go for it.
from top bottom. It's and left to right. Bunting, Tavares, Marner.
Okay.
Robertson on the second line.
Yep.
Kerfoot center, and then Nylander on the right.
Oh.
Yeah. Mikheyev, Kampf, Engvall. Clifford's up. Clifford, Spezza, Kasha.
So Clifford's on the fourth line.
Which is interesting.
Okay.
Maybe they're trying to
So
see.
no Simmons.
No Simmons. They're probably giving him the night off.
Oh,
Kind of like
maybe,
with Spezza last week. They gave him like 2 days off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
I'm also looking at other stuff like Lyubushkin's on the top line. I haven't minded him.
You know what? He's been one of those things that we were able to dump Richie, and we got something in return for it.
I saw a stat. I don't have it, and it was something like their expected goals against plummets when he's on the ice.
That's good.
Yeah, like I'd be making it up if I told you what the stat was right now. But it was like really when he's on the ice, their expected goals against or something like that. It goes
decreases quite a bit.
Yeah.
You were saying
sound.
he's on the first line tonight?
Yeah, he's with Riley.
I don't like them dividing up Brody and Riley. They are a good solid pairing.
The problem
together.
is you need a babysit Hall.
Yeah, I know. You need someone to fill that spot.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, we don't have a 7th D who can step up and take it. We have Dermott, but
he's 7th D.
I would not put Dermott and Hall together.
Sandy and Lilgren on the bottom is still makes sense. Like neither one of them has enough experience to babysit Justin Hall. Both good players, but I think to make up for his shortcomings, you need to have someone with some experience.
And Brody has that, and Brody's responsibly. He's very responsible defensively. That's why they're playing with Riley.
And I'm liking Sandy and Lilgren.
So am I. Now,
Lilgren
he didn't get benched in the Buffalo game, but he only played like 10 minutes.
I would have benched half the team in that Buffalo game.
His Lilligren, he only played just over 10 minutes in the Buffalo game. Mm-hmm. It didn't start out well for him. He was on the ice for the first goal against and with Riley, and things weren't clicking with them, and so he only played 10 minutes.
Yeah,
just over.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about the games. There's only 2.
Okay.
But I have stuff for both of those. So the Arizona game. 1 second. I'm just making a note here. The Arizona game, 5-4 loss. They were losing 4-1 at one point.
Yes.
Mrazek, man, four goals against.
Not a good game.
4 goals on 12 shots.
Yeah.
So Mrazek gets pulled in the second period, and Colgren calms everything down. They come back, and then they lose an OT.
Yeah.
We mentioned that earlier.
And I mean, we give grace to goalies saying like, "Oh, goal's not their fault." You can't blame him for the overtime.
No, because it shouldn't have been a goal. It shouldn't have been a shot against.
The play should have been blown dead.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
But like, even then, you can't really blame him for that. I mean,
no, I thought the Leafs
were all over the place.
I thought he played well. It seemed like he gave. I'm not sure if he gave them the confidence or they're just like, got to win this game for the young guy. Unfortunately, it didn't go their way. I thought they played. They did the 2019-2020 Leaf special of only showing up for the third period. Love to see it.
Played a good third period.
They played a great third period. Too bad the hockey game is 60 minutes, and in this case, 65.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And then, that blatant hold on.
Yeah, so we already talked about it. That was the big story of that night. That shouldn't have happened in any regard. I did find it funny, Matthews' 1 goal in the game, he scored it, and the play continued for like 20, 30 seconds because they didn't know it went over the line.
It was like funny. Longer than that.
It was quite a while.
I think.
Yeah, it was quite a while.
And like he knew it went in.
Yeah.
It was, right? Like he knew that puck went in. He was actually on the bench. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He was on the bench when they announced it a goal. Like he had already shifted And then, 10 seconds later, Nylander scored.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was a fluky kind of play. Like, the puck just kind of bounced between everybody, landed on his stick, and he put it 5-hole.
I'll take it. I'll take a goal.
But bounced. Like, that's how fast this team can change the game, though.
Yeah.
Right?
You're losing 4-1, you can get them to 4-4.
Yeah. Or 4-3 in that matter.
Yeah. But
right?
I'm just like, man, you're down 4-1 to Arizona. And I blame Mrazek, but I also blame the team because it took up until the third period, you'd only had one goal in Arizona. So, you know what? Blame Mrazek all you want, and I will. He was awful, but the team wasn't helping him until they got the, first game for your goalie boost, right?
I don't even think they got that boost. I just think this team is so good offensively that they can just at any given moment score 3 goals.
Yeah.
And we've seen that not so much against Buffalo for some reason. I mean,
it's
like
like
a 5-1 loss and a 5-2 loss. But I mean, look at how many games lately have they scored 3+ goals?
Oh, I agree. It's
they scoring 3 goals for this team is
nothing.
It's nothing.
It's just when they feel like it. And
I wouldn't even say that because there's been games where they've lost 5-4. And they were in it the whole game.
Oh, there's tons of games like that. And there's games where they get robbed, but the shot counters through the roof. I think the last Arizona game was like that. But
it was 38 to 23 or something like that.
But my argument was crazy. But my argument for this game is that they looked like crap. They weren't outplaying and not scoring. They just looked like crap up until the third, which is like their old.
Well, I thought that about the Buffalo game too.
Yeah, the same thing with the Buffalo game.
Especially that first period.
Yeah, so
that first period, it was hard to watch.
But
they didn't even play bad. Like, it was hard to watch that first period.
How much do you chalk that
Buffalo
up to
was
the snow?
all over them.
Because
what?
How much do you chalk that up to the weather though? Because it was an outdoor game. Really?
0.
Because it was snowing a lot.
Buffalo looked good.
Yeah, that's fair.
Buffalo was able to skate with the puck. They were able to score. I mean, Buffalo looked strong that first period. They shut down the Leafs. They were able to make passes. They were able to move the puck. They looked like a professional hockey team. The Maple Leafs did not.
No.
So I get that some people are chalking it up. Oh, well, the weather was bad. Well, the weather's bad for both teams, though.
It is. You're right.
Right? Like, not one team was playing in the snow. Both teams were. The difference is one team looked good, and it was not the Maple Leafs that period. Now, second period, different story, right? Totally different team on the ice.
Yeah.
But that first period was a bad indication to what this playoffs could be, because they were not ready to play in the first 20 minutes.
And then more Mrazek shenanigans.
Oh yeah.
The one bounce off goal, I can't remember who it bounced off of.
Was it Brody?
I think it was Brody.
I don't remember.
I don't think it's important, but Mrazek wasn't expecting it. He was also way out of position. So chalk it up, whatever. The third and fourth goals were abysmal. Again, he's against the post, but not against the post enough, so it sneaks in.
Yeah,
he's not an NHL goaltender. It's
like I asked you earlier. Who would you rather have, Hutchinson or Mrazek right now? Like that's the level I'm comparing him to.
Yeah, he's bad.
Yeah,
I think the best thing they can do is trade deadline's Monday. Then they got 2 games.
Yeah.
And they're starting Colgren tonight, so I guess they start him again.
Yeah, because they played. Yeah, they have Thursday game and Saturday game.
Yeah, so do they just start him 2 of the 3? I guess you put in Mrazek for one of them because, he's a young guy. He probably needs a rest or something. He's not used to it. But I think you give Colgren 2 of the 3 and kind of see what you have.
I honestly, I think you go game by game. I think you give Colgren the start tonight. If he gets absolutely blown out, you give the start on Thursday to Mrazek.
Yeah.
If Colgren looks good, or wins, you give him the start on Thursday.
Yeah.
And you see how that goes.
Yeah, because you have to see
I
what
think
you
it's
have.
literally game by game.
You have to see what you have. You have 3 games till the trade deadline. You have to see if this kid is at least...
Can he be a backup?
If he can be a backup, that's phenomenal. Then maybe you can run Campbell Colgren, because Campbell's out 2 weeks. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe...
Now, that was a week ago, though. So he should be back.
Yeah. So maybe...
trade deadline.
So maybe you can... If he's good, at least good enough to be a backup, you can run Campbell Colgren and get like a phenomenal defenseman to back up the goaltending.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
it's not. Yeah, and like that's that. What else do you need? Like, that's because realistically, Colgren's not going to be our starter, so you only need someone who can be a backup.
Yeah, exactly.
Who can play just in case or every few games.
Yeah, if he can be a backup, if he looks comparable and he looks okay, and Campbell's feeling better, you can run that.
Yeah.
But do you take do you take the chance? I keep saying these are your last 2 years. And then the team's blown up. Or at least partially.
Yeah, I've really been hammering in that the last 2.
Yeah, you convinced me because I kept saying this is the last one and then it's going to be
and then
maybe next year. But no, like next year, yes, it's going to be hard to make it work, but they're good at circumventing the cap.
Yeah.
But after next year. So do you really give up?
After next year,
it's going to be
unless you move one of the big 3 contracts.
Which they will have to.
If who knows?
So do you take the risk and hope that Campbell gets his mojo back? Or do you still get somebody?
I would honestly, I'd be hunting for Forsberg.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Or even Vejmelka.
I think you're right.
On Arizona.
And just kind of be like, yo, Forsberg, like, you're a UFA this year. Come play for the Leafs or a better team gives you more, and you'll be in the playoffs with us. That if you play even one good game in the playoffs, your amount goes up. So even if they don't plan on keeping them, we're like, hey man, like your value will go up.
Yeah, right? And it could happen. Now I just got a notification on my phone. Not a trade, but a trade rumor.
Okay.
Less rumor
fun.
Of Jacob Middleton, defenseman on the Sharks, who apparently Pierre LeBrun had an article out today saying that they're looking into him. So I pulled it up real quick. Jacob Middleton is 6'3", 210 pounds.
Big boy.
Yeah, he's got 41 games played this year. And he's a +3 with only 9 points, 62 penalty minutes. So he's a big boy. This is like his first year in the NHL. He's making, I think, league min.
Most likely.
Contract's up this year, so they could re-sign him if they wanted. But if you're serious about starting a conversation about goaltenders, the Sharks also have Reimer. Right? And it's like, do you maybe knock on the door and see if Reimer wants to come back home? Right now, I think Reimer...
Are we seriously talking about bringing back Reimer? I think he's struggling this year, isn't he?
No. Reimer's had a good year this year. At least he started off really strong. Let me check. He's got a 916. 34 games played. He's put up a 916.
Does he get?
He's having a good year.
I like the thought of a redemption story.
Right? So do I. And like, we'll see what happens.
Can you imagine?
But I mean, if you're looking at a defenseman goaltender combo, it's a possibility. I mean, now he is on the IR, but for some reason I thought that they just took him off the IR like today.
Can you imagine a scenario where James Reimer is playing in the Leafs and they lose in Game 7?
Oh my goodness, no. I don't wanna. I don't wanna think that. Okay, I'm trying to pull it up real quick. So I thought for some reason that he was um on the IR, or sorry, it's a cap friendly says he's on the IR, but starting Tuesday, he is off the
Okay.
IR as of today.
All right.
So, I mean, if you're looking for a defenseman goalie duo, that's the doorstep I might be knocking on. 6'3" defenseman with James Reimer, who has had a pretty good season this year. Like that may be a possibility.
That's a match.
That
That's
might be a
match.
possibility,
What does he make?
right? 2 million,
Ooh,
2.25, and the defenseman's league min.
that's not bad.
That's $3 million,
It's not bad.
right? That still gives you $2 million if you want to do something else.
Like a forward.
If you keep Muzzin's contract hidden,
Yeah.
right? If you keep it buried, you spend $3 million on those two. That still gives you $2 million that you can play with if you want to do something.
Yeah, it's not bad. That's not bad.
I'm just saying, if it happened, I would be excited and I would not be surprised because I'm calling it now. Bring Reimer home, give us this goaltender, and let's go from this defenseman. And let's go from there.
That would be good.
Tell me that would not be a massive boost to the fan base.
Oh my god, yeah. Well,
Like,
half
if
of the fan
Dubas wants
base.
to win, if Dubas wants to win brownie points, there's your brownie points. I just found them. Like,
You found the brownie points.
yeah.
Man.
Do you want to talk about the Buffalo game like anymore? I think that
Well, we talked about the main thing of that game. So, the Matthews suspension.
which I agree with. I do.
Okay.
2 games.
Can I ask
I
you?
agree with
Can
it.
I ask you a series of questions regarding it?
Sure.
If you're looking at just the suspension,
Yes.
I agree.
Okay.
We are coming down on cross checks, and one sec. We're coming down on cross checks, and they said that at the beginning of the year. Cross check to the neck. He says it slid up. Doesn't matter. We're trying to get rid of those. 2-game suspension makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
However, if you're looking at the NHL and how they've been handing out suspensions and fines and the Department of Player Safety, how they've been doing it this year, it's bullshit. Because
It's been very inconsistent.
if you mentioned it earlier, I have another one that's even more connected, but Nick Foligno, he got a 2-game suspension a month ago for a knee-on-knee, and then he does it again and gets $5,000 fine. So he's a repeat offender this year and gets a $5,000 fine.
A month ago.
Yeah. Even worse, the night before, on Saturday night, Huberdeau, I don't know the player that got hit, I can't remember his name, but Huberdeau, mad for a non-call because it was like a hooking call or something, didn't get it, and he was pissed off, yelled at the ref. Guys behind the net, coming around, Huberdeau comes in full speed, off his feet, elbows to the face. Nothing. The night before.
I don't even know if it wasn't really an elbow. It was like more hands than anything, I think.
It was a okay. Let me put it this way then. Let's
It
say
was still a
deliberate,
hit to the head.
Yes. Jumped headshot.
Yes.
The night before, no penalty, no fine, no suspension.
I know.
God forbid Matthews sticks up for once, and the Department of Player Safety is like, ah!
It's not that he stuck up for once. It's the fact that he hit somebody in the neck with a hockey stick.
Fair. I also think we should be taking out elbowing people into the face at full speed.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I guess the Department of
well,
Player Safety does not agree with me.
Well, so the other thing is, like, you got to look at the inconsistency this year, right? We started off the season with a couple suspensions, 2-game suspensions for hits into the boards where people's heads were hit, and things like that. Like we covered it quite a bit early in the
We've
year.
been talking about this a
and then
lot.
then you have things like Foligno need the guy in the head who was on the ice. I think it was Foligno then. No, Foligno
Spezza.
got kneed.
Spezza. You're thinking of Spezza.
No, I'm not. No,
In the Winnipeg game a couple months ago.
No, I'm not thinking of Spezza. It wasn't a Leaf game.
Oh.
It was I forget who it was, but I think Foligno got kneed in the head. Like they were kind of fighting, and I forgot. Shoot. I forgot who it was.
I do remember that. The guy like MMA
He got
kneed
on
him
top
in
of
the
him
face.
and like drove his knee through. And I don't remember what the suspension was. I don't know if he got suspended. Like I think he got a fine for it. And so it's just been so much. It's been so much. And then Marchand punches someone in the head and gets 6 games for it. He punched Jari in the head and got 6 games.
You're at the roulette table, and you're putting your money down, and instead of numbers, it's different infractions, and you're just instead of like you're at the casino and you're hoping your number comes up, you're hoping it doesn't come up. Matthews put like $20. Matthews put 2 games on cross check to the head, spun the roulette wheel, and unfortunately landed on him.
Yeah,
that's the best way I can put it.
And it is because you don't know what the penalty will like what the penalization will be until they spin that wheel.
It should be, hey, you cross check someone in the face. That's 2 games.
You hit You had a dirty hit that came in contact with the head.
Yeah.
2 games.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you elbowed him in the head, cross-checked him in the head, pushed him into the board head first, kneed him in the head, 2 games. Now, severity can go up from there,
I think,
but no matter what, it is a minimum 2 games.
Yeah. Cross-check to the head like Matthews did, 2 games. Coming in at speed deliberately, 3 to 4 games. A knee on knee should be like 4 games for a deliberate knee on knee, in my opinion. What Foligno did the other day.
I'll settle on 2 games.
But it has to happen.
Suspend him.
Yeah.
Suspend. And the fact that like they did suspend him the first time, but not the second time, right? And like Pionk got suspended 2 games when he did it to Sandin.
Yeah.
No penalty on the call, but he got suspended afterwards.
Well, it's because the NHL refs are worse than the Department of Player Safety.
Yeah, at least the player safety, they call something.
Yeah, they'll correct the refs. Like they won't outright say the refs are morons, but they're saying the refs are morons.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's really bad.
It is, and so, but at least they did something, right? At least they, like, as bad as it is to say, at least they gave Matthews the suspension. Because I honestly would have been mad if they didn't.
I would too. However, no, I'm going to be mad if the next time someone does it, they don't get a suspension. I'm going to be watching for that.
Mad about too.
Going to be watching for that.
I will be mad about that. Yeah, I will be too, because you can't throw one and not the other.
No, and you know that
clearly they can.
Yeah.
Look at Foligno.
You know,
one knee on knee is a suspension, one's a fine.
You know, being a Leafs fan, people always say, "Oh, the Leafs get everything their way." So you know, us complaining about it, people are going to be like, "Oh, they're Leaf fans. They just complain about everything." So watch the league. That someone's going to get cross-checked to the head in the last 30 games. Like it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
Watch for it, because if they don't get this, at least we could full on complain about it, bitch about it
all we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Matthews has no history.
0.
None.
0. He's never been suspended.
No.
And he doesn't take a lot of penalties.
And apparently he's not allowed to draw them either. No. I think mean, Dahlin, for what he was doing, should have got a penalty, not a suspension or anything.
Absolutely.
But he was he was roughing him up too. Like, he was the instigator.
It's one thing to push a player out of the crease. It's another thing to push the guy down, while he's down, as he's getting up, push him down again into the net. Like,
and if you watch,
it was beyond just battling in front. He was just bullying Matthews, kind of like
the Winnipeg game.
The Winnipeg game where Buddy was beating him up in the corner, and the puck was center ice.
Yeah,
it was the same thing with the Dahlin thing. The puck was out of the zone.
If you watch the game, the refs they're watching it happen. The second Matthews retaliates, they blow the whistle. They put their arm up. The second.
But because of the cross check, they had to.
But I get it. But they're watching Dahlin break the rules.
It should have been offsetting penalties. That's what it should have been.
If they called the first 3 hits, Matthews doesn't do that.
Yeah, he would have. If they didn't have the puck, the whistle wouldn't have blown. He would have kept hitting him.
No, I know.
Right?
I guess,
He pushed him down the first time, he would have pushed him again because the whistle wouldn't have been blown.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Which means Matthews would have got up and retaliated anyways, but it should have been offsetting minors.
Yeah.
That's what it should have been.
At the very least.
Just both players. I know we're about to wrap up here.
Yep.
Sandin just scored 1-0 Leafs.
That's my boy.
So, yeah.
Oh, we got to
having a good year.
I like Sandin. Good for him.
Yeah.
But
he's been like the one player on the Leafs that surprised me the most.
Bunting.
Outside of Campbell to start
Bunting.
it up. No, I actually expected him to be good.
This good?
I expect not this good, but good.
Mm.
Like I expected him to be. I've been saying it since the offseason. I thought he was going to be a good player. Sandin was a guy who I was like, is he even going to make the team? Like that's kind of what I thought of him.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, is he going to play 40 of the 82 games? Like, what's going to happen? Like I wasn't expecting him to be this good. Yeah.
I have 2 more quick things. Oh, I just lost my... Hold on. Uh-oh. Hold on.
What did you just do?
Okay, we're good? We're good. Okay. I'm going to have to fix that in editing. My monitor disconnected.
Oh.
Don't worry, we're still recording, everything like that. I might have to just cut that part. Yeah, so one thing for Buffalo, another missed call. Tavares got tripped hard in the third period, no call. Like his leg flew up in the air, like I yanked it so hard.
Yeah.
Another big non-call. Like, again, refs are just trash. It's got to be fixed at this point.
They're not doing well.
And the last thing, I know we're talking about trade deadline. What about Zdeno Chara again?
We talked about him last week too.
He's making $750,000.
I don't care. I honestly, as cool as it would be to see him in a Leaf jersey, I do not see that happening. And yeah, I don't see a world where Chara is a Leaf.
I think
especially being a Boston player for so long.
I get it.
I can't see it.
But it'd be great.
I can't see it.
He would be an asset in the playoffs. Oh man.
He might be.
Like
he
not even
might be. Like,
he doesn't even need to be a full-time, like you put him in, like you play the first 2 games and like you get pushed around in game 2. So then Chara comes in for game 3 and then whoever they're playing is like, "Oh, okay, they have Chara. Maybe we'll settle down."
But yeah, but even then, like let's say you play realistically, I hope the Leafs drop down to a wild card spot. As I'm saying this,
they're going to. Boston's 2 points behind.
It's looking like they are. I hope they drop to a wild card spot because I do not want to play Tampa in the first round.
Yeah.
I would rather play Florida in the first round.
I think you're right.
Right? Either one of those teams you're not playing with home ice advantage. So I would rather take on Florida than Tampa.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Right? So drop to that wild card spot and we have a better chance, or jump to first place and play Boston.
I don't think that's happening. I think you're correct that we're going to be wild card again this year.
Yeah, it's wild card or third because like if the Leafs do turn it around, they can spike back up. They're only 3 points behind Tampa.
You're right.
Right? Like they win tonight's game, they're 1 point behind Tampa. Like they're still close, but they're not like they were. right?
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, last thing. Next games, we're playing the Stars tonight, Hurricanes Thursday, and then Preds Saturday. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't. I have no idea.
None.
I have no. Actually, you know what? I think they're gonna win 3-1 to Carolina.
Why?
Just because
So
Carolina's number one team
specific?
in the Eastern Division, and I think the Leafs. Everyone's expecting them to get destroyed, and I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna hold their own.
All right.
I do. That's my prediction.
I like it.
Tonight's game and the Preds game, no idea.
I think
I think they're gonna hold their own in Carolina.
I think they need to win tonight because they have been playing like poo.
And you know what? I think they will win tonight because they've been playing like poo. Matthews is out, right? Which means every player in that dressing room, especially the forwards, now know they need to step it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if
Matthews
they have a
has been
bad
averaging
game,
2 points a night minimum, and it's like, you know what? We just lost that.
yeah,
It's just like those points need to come from somewhere else.
yeah, you lost your heart. You're pretty much the Hart Trophy finalists for this year. You guys got to step it up.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna see that, right?
I hope so. Well, I mean, Sandine, like said.
Yep. There you go. I wouldn't be surprised if Tavares had a multi-point night tonight,
That'd be nice.
playing on that first line with Marner and Bunting. I would love to see Robertson put up some points.
Me too.
Against his brother. So yeah, we'll see, but I think they're gonna win tonight, and I think they're gonna beat Carolina.
All right.
Preds, no idea.
Next week we're gonna have a lot to talk about because that's after.
Yes.
Do you want to do like a night of trade deadline thing, or like what do you think?
I'm not sure yet. We can talk about it later.
We'll talk about it.
I'm not sure yet.
We'll definitely either do that or we'll just ignore the games and just talk trade deadline. We'll see. See what happens.
Possibly, seeing how things go.
Yeah. But anyway,
we'll play it and we'll see, because next week will be a bigger one.
Yeah. I think we're done here. You all good?
That's it.
Excellent.
I'm done.
All right. Like it, subscribe it. I've been trying to be a bit more. I keep saying this. I've been more on Twitter, and I've noticed a couple people have actually started following us a bit more. If you're following us, watch the videos too. I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, do like and subscribe. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. All the links are below. So please go check those out. And we're going to post a bit more on social media, especially Instagram. Twitter, we've been getting a bit more active, but Instagram, we're going to get a bit more active too. So yeah. We'll be here next week. Possibly just the two of us. Maybe we'll have somebody else on to help us talk about the trade deadline because it's going to be a lot. And yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. So guys, have a good weekend. Have a good week, and we'll talk to you later.